Imagine a place where even the most advanced ships, equipped with radar, GPS, and steel hulls, become helpless toys in the hands of the elements. A place where the ocean rises like a 30-meter wall, and the wind tears metal apart as if it were paper. This is not a myth, nor an ancient legend. This is the Drake Passage, the most dangerous sea on the planet, the graveyard of ships, the gates of hell, the ocean's inferno. You think modern technology can save you? Wrong. Here, entire fleets have perished, hundreds of lives have vanished, and even 21st century cruise liners have been broken by the blows of rogue waves. Today, you will discover 3 oceans collide here to create a giant monster. How icebergs, storms, and killer waves can turn ships into splinters. The stories of sailors who managed to survive in the very place where countless others found their graves. Welcome to the most terrifying place in the ocean. Welcome to the Drake Passage. This is David. Let's go. Geography and features. The Drake Passage did not appear by chance. Millions of years ago, Antarctica and South America were one. But tectonic forces gradually tore this bond apart. The continents began to drift apart, and in place of land, a narrow but deep channel opened. This rupture forever changed the map of the planet, turning the southern waters into the only corridor where the ocean found freedom and knew no barriers. Elsewhere on Earth, the flow of water is restrained by continents and chains of islands. But here, nothing. Only emptiness. And the ocean begins to swirl around Antarctica with unimaginable fury. The Antarctic circumpolar current is the most powerful on the planet. 150 million cubic meters of water every second, 150 times more than all the rivers of Earth combined. Into this stream are pulled the Atlantic, Pacific, and Southern Oceans, and together they give birth to chaos, storms, gigantic waves, steel walls of water that in an instant can crush even a modern ship. And this is only the beginning. Why is this place so dangerous? Here, the wind rules everything. There's nothing to block it, nothing to slow it down. It circles Antarctica without resistance, building up to speeds that shake the human imagination. More than 70 meters per second. Winds strong enough to rip roofs from houses, to tear entire trees from the ground. Now picture that same force unleashed on the ocean. Waves 15, even 20 meters high. That's daily life here. But the real nightmare is something worse. Rogue waves. The killers of the sea. They don't follow rules. They rise out of nowhere. 25, 30, even 40 meters tall. Imagine a skyscraper of water towering over your ship before crashing down in the very next heartbeat. And then there are the icebergs, hundreds of frozen giants drifting silently through the fog, some as large as entire cities. One collision, and your vessel isn't a ship anymore. It's wreckage scattered across the sea. That's how dozens of 19th century expeditions disappeared, swallowed whole by this merciless passage. The story of the Drake Passage is more than just geography. It is a chronicle of tragedies. 1741. The British ship HMS Wager dares to challenge Cape Horn, the most dangerous maritime frontier on the planet. But in the waters of the passage, storms tear her apart. The battered vessel crashes against the rocks off the coast of Chile. The survivors find themselves in hell. Cold, hunger, and mutiny. Discipline collapses, and the crew turns on itself. Out of 120 men, only 10 made it home. The rest vanished into the ocean, the jungles, the wastelands of South America. 1819. The Spanish frigate San Telmo sails as part of a squadron, 644 men on board. In the passage, a monstrous storm engulfs her. The ship disappears without a trace. No signal, no wreckage. Later, fragments of her hull are found on the coast of Antarctica. This means one thing: San Telmo had reached the very edge of the world. Historians believe her crew may have been the first humans to set foot on Antarctica. But if they did, it was a death sentence. A frozen desert with no food, no shelter, no salvation. The Drake Passage claimed them all, and only the Southern Ocean keeps their secret. One of the most incredible survival stories is tied to Ernest Shackleton's expedition of 1914 through 1917. Their ship, Endurence, was crushed by the Antarctic ice. The men were left stranded on drifting floes, with no communication and no hope. In desperation, Shackleton made a mad decision. In a boat only 7 meters long, together with 5 companions, he set out across the Drake Passage, the most dangerous ocean on the planet. 16 days of hell. Hardtack and seal fat for food, clothing frozen solid, waves crashing over the boat. Every storm, a possible end. And yet, they reached South Georgia. Shackleton then marched for 36 sleepless hours across frozen mountains and did the impossible. He saved his entire crew. Over 500 days in Antarctica, and not a single man was lost. This story became known as the Impossible Rescue. And Endurance itself was found only 107 years later, in 2022, at a depth of 3,000 meters. The ship was astonishingly well preserved, as if waiting for its time. But the Drake Passage is merciless even today. On November 29, 2022, the cruise liner Viking Polaris, equipped with the latest technology, was struck by a rogue wave. A single blow was enough to bend steel, smash windows, and take a passenger's life. These giants were once the stuff of sailors' legends, until 1995, when the Dropner oil platform recorded the first official rogue wave, towering at 25.6 meters. Today we know they are real, and they appear more often than once believed. Every year, yachts and ships vanish in the passage, sometimes without a trace, sometimes leaving behind miracle survivors who swear never to cross this oceanic hell again. Insurance companies call the passage a black hole of logistics. Even in the 21st century, captains prefer to go around through Panama rather than challenge the ocean. The Drake Passage is a place where myths become reality, and where even modernity remains powerless against the fury of nature. Myths and legends. Sailors believed that forces beyond human control dwelled in the passage. Some swore they had seen glowing orbs above the water. Others spoke of massive, shadowy creatures moving in the depths. Legends told of sea demons that lured ships into storms. Some believed the Drake Passage was a gateway to another world, and that those who drowned here did not sink to the bottom, but entered an endless ocean from which there is no return. But even within this chaos, there is order. Scientists call the passage the heart of the ocean. Its waters mix 3 oceans, carrying heat and cold between continents, shaping the climate of the entire planet. Without the Drake Passage, Earth would look very different. The Drake Passage cannot be conquered. It can only be endured. Everyone who has crossed it remembers forever the howl of the wind, the thunder of the waves, and the icy breath of the ocean. Here, mistakes are not forgiven. Here, mercy does not exist. Here, survival is the only law. And if one day you are offered the chance to cross it, remember these stories. Because where the ocean is free, man loses his freedom forever. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It really helps my channel grow. See you next time.